Hey y'all, Shark Scrapper. I gotta be honest with you. I mean, other than the fact that this is a monitor, I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's a Tyco Electronics ELO touch system. So I'm thinking that this might have been from a restaurant or some other business where, you know, the staff would use this to enter in your order or whatever you're going to buy, because it says it's a touch system. I don't know, but you know what? Let's dive in and find out what it's made of. Alrighty, now power buttons, and well, let's get the bracket off. All right. Now, aha! That helps us to have a little better understanding of what we need to do to get at stuff. Put a new Phillips 1 bit on here, so hopefully we will not have the challenges that we've had for a while now with the screws not biting. And we've got a couple of screws down inside of there. Those are pretty deep cavities though, so let's use my makeshift. This was an old Phillips screwdriver that I cut off, put a flat on one end of it and put it in my drill. Works pretty well. Hold up, we might need that again. I think those don't, I can't see any reason why these have to come off just yet. Yeah, I think I got those screws. Let's see, wait a minute. They felt like they came out. Yeah, you're out. And you're out. This is when a little magnetized screwdriver can help when they don't want to just pop right out themselves. All right, well, let's see. Sometimes you just have to pry open the screen face. Yeah, it looks like that might be the case here. Ah, there's glue on the screen. So that was part of the problem. Otherwise, that would have just popped right off, but it was glued down. The glue or the sealer would suggest that this was intended to be operated in a high humidity environment or a dirty environment. So this may have also been a data entry point in a warehouse or something of that nature. There we go. Now then, we open up the body. Well, we got some more screws here. We'll see if these have some play in the matter. So this glass panel is further glued on. This is a good example of why you should wear gloves. And we got some more screws here. And it looks like those thumb screws need to come off. Riser thumb screw things. My battery is really low on this. I know I keep saying I need to get it charged. And then I keep forgetting to charge it when I leave the shark cage. I need to stop forgetting and get it done. Get her done. Okay. All right. Now, who's still holding up the show here? Ah, you are. There we go. All right. A couple of fans here. Nothing much on this board. I'm just going to throw that in with the low grades. Now, you guys, those screws that I didn't take off before need to come off now. There we go. And that's just shred steel. We will bust the motor part out of that and take off the, in fact, you know what, here, this is really easy, watch. For my yard anyway, this is all that's required. Now we have number 2 insulated copper wire and a small electric motor, copper bearing motor. All right, let's see, let's get you guys rounded up and out of the way. So, power board, and I guess the brains are this tiny little board here, and then we have a 160 gigabyte hard drive, which is nothing to get terribly excited about, is it? No, it's not. And for some reason they decided to use a Torx. So just a little tiny hard drive here. We'll put that in with our hard drives with boards. Now then, let's see, we have controller board for the screen, for the display right here. And we have some sort of transformer, some ICs, and some other very small components. So I'm going to throw that in my mid-grade. There were no gold E-nickel on that. Number 2 insulated. This wire out of the way here. Get out the way. Happens to Moigatoids. There, boy, that's taking you back to some old cartoon stuff, isn't it? Some of you may not even know what that cartoon was. So here we have a SATA pin connector. I'm going to throw that in with my mid-grades. Some metal, little piece of shred steel. And get this wire off of here. The ferrite core will just go in with my small metal bits, and then that's number 2 insulated for my yard anyway. Here we have a USB connection. There's the other end of a USB connection. My yard does not require that I remove the plug-ins, so I'm just chucking this all in with my number 2 insulated copper wire. Oh, we have a little ram stick here. Gold-fingered ram stick. Some more wire wraps to slow me down. Why not? Why not put some more wire wraps on there? And that's going to be all number 2 insulated copper wire. So, controller board with this piece of cheap ribbon wire, which, oh, look at that, it has gold on the end, so I'm going to cut that part off. That'll go in with the gold ribbon wire for me to someday process or give to somebody else to process. So here's the controller board. It's just on nylon pegs. Actually a relatively nice board. We have IC flat pack, some more ICs, we have tantalum, yellow tantalum capacitors, we have a gold edged crystal oscillator, we have some gold plated pins, we have some MLCCs. So I'm going to put this in with my peripheral high grade. Now this board, we have these 2 tantalum capacitors, black tantalums, couple little ICs, but then we have some junk hanging on here. So peripheral low grade, if you are close enough to board sort that, you know, it's worth going there. For me, mid grade. I'm trying to figure out why that piece is not coming off yet. And maybe it's because there's screws on the other side. Man, this is a really weird arrangement. You have to break that board to get at this screw. Oh, those nuts were... All right, maybe I didn't have to. Oh well, it was just a low-grade board anyway. All right, now, get this wire taken care of here. I don't see any more screws on that side. You out of here, there's low grade. I don't know why this isn't coming off. This is just the tactile switches for turning it on and off and such, so low grade board there. Aha, maybe I found it. Maybe I found the culprit. Let's see. That gets that out of the way. Now I can get at those screws. You see that piece I just took off was blocking my access to these two screws here. Now I can get you up. Get that little heat sink off of there. Aluminum heat sink. This is a pretty nice board too. Big old IC flat pack there. Oscillator, some small capacitors, but a bunch of other ICs, really teeny tiny little MLCCs, a whole bunch of gold plated pins. Nothing on that side. Oh, peripheral low grade. I'm going to put it in with the peripheral highs for me because I have some pretty high grade stuff in that bin already. So I'm going to put it in with my peripheral high grades, but yeah, it might be better suited in peripheral low grade. If you have to depopulate, that's what you're going to go after, that chip and those gold plated pins. The oscillator, if you really think you're going to do that. A lot of people talk about those oscillators, but they're really challenging to get the silver out of them. Big old power board here. Well, no, you know what? It's not a power board. I thought it was a power board because I was seeing brown and stuff like that, but you know, there's going to be some chips underneath this heatsink. You wouldn't put a big old heatsink like that. Plus, that's where the RAM was. So it's just they used a brown board for the motherboard in this. Let's get the battery off of here. And now we get this metal, the sheet metal. Pair of sheet metal out of the way. And you got these spring clips down here. You guys are going to be kind of a problem. You're really hard to get at there. Normally I would just cut these, but they're in such a weird place. A little bit hard to get the schnips into that. Ah, there we go. Really? Big old heatsink like that. And what do we have here? Two BGAs. We have this ceramic CPU and then this BGA. Man, those things must have got really hot if they needed that much heatsink on them. So my yard will take this as mid, might even go in with the high grades now because it's kind of a motherboard, kind of not, kind of is. So I'm going to put this in with the motherboards and put it in with my high grade motherboards for my yard. Yeah, that was a little confusing, wasn't it? So two things going on. One, my yard is, the last two times I've been there, they've changed their definition of what are mid-grade and what are high-grade boards. And now I'm relearning with them what they want to classify. Something like this, which kind of looks like a motherboard, but it's not a motherboard. It's not a green motherboard. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in with the high-grade boards And then when we go to look at the boards at the yard, they can decide if they want to push it down to the mid-grade. Then with the aluminum heatsink, all we have to do is cut these prongs off. My yard is cool with me just cutting off the metal prongs. I don't have to dig them all the way out. A lot of yards are okay with that, but it all depends on your yard. So you have to know what your yard says. It's a nice heavy aluminum heatsink too. Oops, that went in the wrong direction. You go in the trash like that. Alrighty, then we have the Goldfinger card down here. Now it's got really teeny tiny little screws, but those will pop right out. I'm not worried about that. Pop those off like that. The finger strip card looks more impressive than what it really is. You've got lots of gold Enig, but it's very, very thin. Enig is extremely thin kind of plating. And you also have some components. So boardsort.com will take that as a peripheral high-grade board. They also don't weigh a whole lot, so. Yeah, we get a little bit more wire off of here. So my yard, none of my yards will take the screen. So I have, and when I used to collect these up and take them to the transfer station. And then the guy at the transfer station said, yeah, we just throw them in the trash. So unfortunately, these are just going in the trash right now. Terrible. I wish there was, I wish we locally had a better way to deal with these. All right, well, I'm gonna get this one taken apart. Now that I'm a little bit smarter, I should be a little bit faster getting this one taken apart. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And there's other videos that you'll probably also enjoy here or here. And this round thing in the middle is to help you to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. We'll see you on the next one.